If you're self-employed and putting your retirement money into a SEP IRA, you might be leaving tens of thousands of dollars in tax deductions on the table every single year. Here's the number that changes everything. For 2026, the IRS raised the solo 401k total contribution limit to $70,000. That's $70,000 you can shelter from federal income tax in a single year. The SEP IRA carries the same ceiling on paper, but the solo 401k has a structural advantage that most freelancers never hear about, and it lets you contribute far more of your actual income at lower revenue levels. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how the solo 401k contribution math works for 2026, where to open one, and the specific steps to get it done before the deadline closes. Let's get into it. Why the solo 401k beats the SEP IRA for most freelancers. Let's start with why this account exists and why it matters more than what you're probably already using. A SEP IRA lets you contribute up to 25% of your net self-employment income. That sounds generous. But if your net income is $60,000 after the self-employment tax deduction, 25% gets you $15,000. That's it. A solo 401k plays by different rules. It has two contribution buckets. First, you contribute as the employee up to $23,500 in 2026, according to the IRS. Second, you contribute as the employer up to 25% of your net self-employment income on top of that. The two buckets combine, but you hit the $23,500 employee limit regardless of whether your business income supports a full employer match. On that same $60,000 net income, a solo 401k gets you $23,500 from the employee side plus roughly $11,163 from the employer side. That's over $34,000 total, more than double what the SEP IRA allowed. My take is simple. For most freelancers earning under $200,000, the solo 401k wins. The math is not close. One caveat. If you have part-time employees other than a spouse, you generally can't use a solo 401k. That's a hard eligibility wall. But if it's just you or you and a spouse, this account was built for your situation. The 2026 contribution limits, broken down. Let's go deeper on the numbers so you know exactly what you're working with this year. The IRS sets three key figures for 2026. The employee elective deferral limit is $23,500. The total contribution limit, an employee plus employer combined, is $70,000. And if you're 50 or older, the catch-up contribution adds another $7,500, pushing your employee deferral to $31,000 and the total ceiling towards $77,500. Secure 2.0 added a new wrinkle starting in 2025 that carries into 2026. If you're between ages 60 and 63, the IRS allows a higher catch-up contribution of $11,250 instead of the standard $7,500. That's a provision under the Secure 2.0 Act signed into law in 2022. If you're in that age window, the right move is to use the larger number. Don't leave $3,750 on the floor. Now here's the piece where individual variation matters. The employer contribution is calculated as 25% of net self-employment income, which is your Schedule C profit minus half of your self-employment tax. Your actual deductible amount depends on your net profit, your filing status, and whether you're using a Roth or traditional solo 401k. The employee deferral limit, though, is a flat number. It does not scale with income. That flat $23,500 is the core advantage for lower earning freelancers. For Roth solo 401k contributions, there is no income phase-out, unlike the Roth IRA, which cuts off eligibility above $165,000 for single filers in 2026, according to IRS guidance. That makes the Roth Solo 401k a powerful tool if you expect your tax rate to rise later. I cover taxes and retirement for self-employed workers, And the Roth Solo 401k is one of the most underused tools in this space. Where to open your solo 401k? You have four main options: Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, and specialty providers like My Solo 401k or Carry. Here's how I'd split them. Fidelity and Schwab offer free solo 401k accounts with no annual fees. Fidelity's self-employed 401k plan gives you access to their full fund lineup and brokerage tools. Schwab's individual 401k plan is nearly identical. Both are solid. Vanguard used to be the gold standard here, but they stopped accepting new individual 401k applications as of 2023. If you're already there, you can stay. But new accounts go to Fidelity or Schwab. If you want to invest in alternative assets, real estate, private equity, crypto, you need a self-directed solo 401k from a specialty custodian like My Solo 401k or Carry. Those platforms charge annual fees, typically in the $200 to $500 range. The right choice depends on what you want to invest in. For index fund investing, Fidelity or Schwab is the move. For alternatives, go specialty. One thing that matters more than most people realize: check whether the platform supports both traditional and Roth contributions and whether they allow loans. Not all free brokerage plans do. Fidelity's plan currently does not allow loans on their standard free plan. If the loan feature matters to you, verify before you open. The setup, steps, and the deadline that actually matters. Here's the step-by-step process. Step 1, confirm eligibility. You need self-employment income, no full-time employees other than a spouse and a business entity, sole proprietor, LLC, or S-Corp, all qualify. Step 2, get an EIN. You need an employer identification number to open a solo 401k, even as a sole proprietor. You can apply for one free at irs.gov in under 5 minutes. Do this first. Step 3, choose your provider and complete the plan adoption agreement. This is the legal document that establishes your plan. Fidelity and Schwab both provide this. You sign it, you have a plan. Step 4, open the brokerage account tied to the plan and fund it. Step 5, track your contributions through the year. Employee deferrals must come from compensation you've actually paid yourself. Employer contributions are calculated at year-end based on net profit. Now the deadline. This is where people get tripped up. To make employee elective deferrals for 2026, you must establish the plan by December 31st, 2026. That is a hard deadline. You cannot open the plan in March 2027 and contribute retroactively to 2026 the way you can with a SEP IRA. The employer contribution, however, can be made up until your tax filing deadline, including extensions. So October 15th, 2027 if you file an extension. If you have a Roth Solo 401k, the employee deferral deadline is also December 31st. No extensions apply to the Roth side. Mark that date now. One more rule worth knowing. Once your total solo 401k plan assets exceed $250,000, the IRS requires you to file Form 5500 EZ annually. According to the IRS, the penalty for missing this filing is $250 per day up to $150,000. That's not a deadline to miss. Most freelancers won't hit that threshold immediately, but it's worth knowing so it doesn't catch you off guard later. Your 2026 action plan. Here's what I'd do if I were starting from zero today. Open at Fidelity or Schwab this week. It takes about 20 minutes online. Get your EIN first if you don't have one. That's a 5-minute irs.gov task. Sign the plan adoption agreement before December 31st, 2026. Start contributing your employee deferral immediately, even if it's a small amount each month. Calculate your employer contribution at year-end once your net profit is clear. If you're over 50, use the catch-up. If you're between 60 and 63, use the $11,250 enhanced catch-up that's Secure 2.0 unlocked. That provision is sitting there specifically for you. The contribution limit difference between a SEP IRA and a solo 401k can mean $15,000 to $20,000 more in tax-deferred savings per year for a freelancer earning $80,000 to $120,000. At a 24% federal tax bracket, that's $3,600 to $4,800 in federal taxes you don't pay this year. That math compounds every single year you use this account. Don't wait until November. Open the account now, establish the plan, and the December 31st deadline becomes a non-issue. Disclaimer and next steps. I'm not a licensed CPA or financial advisor. This is general education for freelancers, not personalized advice. If you found this useful, subscribe. I put out a new video every week focused on taxes and retirement for people who work for themselves. Next week, we're getting into a mistake that trips up a lot of freelancers at tax time: the confusion between the standard deduction and Schedule C, and why mixing them up can end up costing you deductions you were legally entitled to take. You don't want to miss that one. Got a specific tax or retirement question you want me to dig into? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone and build future videos around what this audience actually needs to know. This video may contain affiliate links. I only recommend tools I use personally.